If I was to stereotype an alcoholic, I would think of someone who is old,
has poor hygiene, doesn't look after themselves, and has really let themselves go.
and that was nothing like Tom. He was a guy who was doing so well in his early 20s, so he was like anyone who would, after work, go to the pub and catch up with friends and have a couple of pints.
Then suddenly Tom's relationship ended, and he was pretty cut up.
On one occasion, after work, he stopped off at the pub and he had a couple of pints. And on his way back, he blacked out behind the wheel. They breathalyzed him and he lost his license. Suddenly, his confidence just went. He was majorly suffering with his mental health because he lost his license. He was suddenly now working 3 or 4 days a week, but whenever he wasn't at work, he would fall into that sort of cycle of once again feeling depressed and just wanting to drink. He was now in a complete mess. He was red, blotchy. He just looked really visually ill. And it was just so scary to see that this was happening to him and that the alcohol was now having that effect on him.
With an addict, there is such a little window to be able to get hold of them and to actually get them the help that they need. One evening he said, "Mum, can you get me into the rehab?" I was driving from my place. I was probably going between 75 and 80 miles an hour because I knew I had to get him there quickly. When suddenly he said, "Stop the car." Now, bearing in mind I'm going between 75 and 80 miles an hour, he opened the car door. And that was just because he could see the rehab, I'm going to be locked up, and he could see his can going further and further away. I think Tom was fully aware that he was going to die. And he actually said to me, he said, "Mum, please will you be with me when I die? Don't leave me on my own."
Bless him, he fought on for about 10 days.
And I could see he was getting worse. I actually lay down on the bed with him and I stayed with him holding his hand and waited until he actually passed away.
For me, songwriting has just been a massive emotional release. I remember just picking up my songbook. I came across Lost Days, and that was the moment where I just thought, I want to do a video and I want to get it out there and raise awareness. One of the messages that we really wanted to be in this video was, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, your background, but addiction can happen to anyone. After seeing what Tom went through and how he suffered so much, we decided to set up the Lost Days Charitable Trust.
We actually go into schools, into prisons and into rehabs, so as you can give them some help and some positivity to when, if particularly in the prisons and the rehabs, when they come out, that they have hope.
The aim with the trust is that we raise enough money that we can sponsor addicts to go and get that help in a rehab and really help them on their journey to recovery.
Putting ourselves through this is obviously really difficult, but it is really worthwhile.
If we can help just one person, the pain of reliving the experience again and again will just be so worth it.